allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Steam.
Present.
Councilmember at-large Anderson.
Present.
Councilmember Austin.
Present.
Jordahl.
Present.
Hagan.
Present.
Carolyn.
Present.
Enright.
Present.
King.
Present.
We have a quorum, Your Honor.
We have a list of additions, 5 and 23, and some backup material for 21. With those additions, we need a motion for adoption.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. Number 2 is a motion for approval of council minutes of January 20th, 2015. We need a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. Are there any citizens here tonight that wish to address the council on items that are not on tonight's agenda? Going once? Twice? All right. We have no awards or recognitions. And number 5 is a motion for the consent agenda. Once again, we need a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 6 on under public hearings, rezoning the lots located at 1704 8th Street Northeast and a 1,000 block of 16th Avenue Northeast from R1 Single Family Residential to R0 Multifamily Office. Holly, we have a motion and an ordinance.
Yes, Your Honor. That first matter is a petition to rezone from Leaning Tree LLC. They have acquired 3 more properties in the area east of the Hormel Institute between 16th and 17th Avenue Northeast. Actually, I should show it here. I'll put this on first. This was the area that was rezoned prior. This is including the new parcels that that Leaning Tree wishes to have rezoned, and those parcels are the parcels outlined in yellow. The requests to rezone the 3 parcels are from R1 Residential to RO Multifamily Office. The structures in those areas no longer exist. The nearest house to those properties that have been rezoned is this 910. The proposed use for that area would be to provide housing for the Institute researchers and staff. And I did include a proposed site plan in the materials. The Planning Commission voted in favor of recommending the rezone by 7-0, finding that the proposed change from residential to multifamily office is in compliance with the comprehensive plan, and it is also in compliance with the plan goals of encouraging reuse and redevelopment within the city, including higher density uses in this type of location and promoting the recruitment of a targeted industry. And that's all I have, unless you have some other questions.
Council, any questions? Public hearing, is there anybody in the audience tonight that has any questions or comments on this? If not, we need a motion
So moved.
for preparation of the ordinance. Second by David. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 6B, we need an ordinance for adoption and publication of the ordinance.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember at-large Anderson.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Also under public hearings, rezoning the property located in the 900 to 1,000 blocks of 15th Avenue Northeast, 16th Avenue Northeast, and 17th Avenue Northeast from R1 Single Family Residential to RO Multifamily Office. Holly.
And to explain this one, that area was already rezoned. This would be correcting an error in a legal description. The property that was identified in all of the meetings prior to that rezone was correctly identified in maps and in aerials. However, when the legal description was recorded, it was recorded incorrectly as Crane's Edition rather than Crane's Second Edition. So I'm just asking the council to repeal that prior ordinance and replace it with a new ordinance with a corrected legal description.
Okay, council, anything? Once again, it's a public hearing. Anybody in the audience have anything to add? If not, we need a motion for preparation of the ordinance.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then B, we need an ordinance for adoption and publication.
Move for the adoption and publication of the ordinance.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordan.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Ordinance passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. Under petitions and requests, 8 is a motion approving the issuance of debt on behalf of Austin Utilities for the Austin Utilities new facility. Mr. Dankert.
As was discussed at the last work session, Martin Nybar, the general manager of the Austin Utilities, is here. The Austin Utilities has approached the city to issue them up to $18 million worth of debt for their new central garage and office facility. You, as the city council, are required to authorize or to approve any debt issuance by the utilities. As was discussed at the work session, council made a motion recommending approval to council at this meeting.
Council, anything? Questions, comments? If not, we need I believe that's a
Motion.
motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. 9 is a resolution approving a resolution relating to the financing of the Austin Utilities facility. Once again, Tom?
Yes, as discussed at the last work session, the council's in need of passing what's called a reimbursement resolution, which would allow the Austin Utilities to repay themselves for any costs incurred from now going forward before they actually receive the bond proceeds in hand. So this is a requirement of the IRS in order for them to reimburse themselves for costs related to that facility.
Council, anything, comments, questions? If none, we need a resolution.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordan.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 10 is a resolution approving an increase to the payment in lieu of taxes from Austin Utilities. Once again, Mr. Dankert.
As discussed at the work session last week also was a joint resolution that's between the City of Austin and Austin Utilities. The Austin Utilities does not pay property taxes per se. They pay a payment in lieu of tax based on usage within the community. Council and the utilities have negotiated a new reimbursement resolution, or a new payment in lieu of tax rate, and would recommend council approval of such.
Council? If there are no questions, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordan.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 11 is a resolution authorizing an amendment to Austin Utilities power sales contract with Southern Minnesota Municipal Power Agency. Tom?
Actually, I'm going to let Mark Neibauer come up if he wants to discuss this. This was discussed at the last council work session, but I'll let Mark get into some more details on that for you.
Yes. Thank you, Tom, the mayor and council. As discussed in the last work section, we're changing our power sales contract with amendment. We're capping what we call our contract rate of delivery, which basically means we cap that at 70 megawatts. So anything above 70 megawatts, Austin Utilities would be on our own and execute contracts to purchase our own power and not have that all requirements with Southern Minnesota Municipal Power Agency. This has been in the works for about 7 years. We're at the point of updating that amendment through that power sales updating the power sales contract through this amendment. So I'm looking for the council for that approval, since it is changing the actual contract with SIMPA. And I'll answer any questions you might have.
Do you have any questions?
Mark, is this go on indefinitely, or is there a time frame that this?
Well, our current contract with SIMPA will expire in 2030. And at that point, we will not be in all requirements customer or member of SIMPA at that point. So we got some things to work out in the meantime up to 2030. So this will basically go till 2030. And at that point, a major contract change will occur at that time.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? If there are none, we need a resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordan.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 12 is a resolution accepting donations to the city. We do this every week. Any questions?
Thank you, Mayor and
Thank you,
Council.
Mark.
Thank you.
Any questions on the donations? If not, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution?
Is there a second?
Second.
Tom?
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 13 is resolution approving a minor subdivision of property in Sun Valley, 3rd edition, as requested by Charlie Faber. I see Charlie sitting out here. Holly?
Yes. Mr. Faber is asking for an exemption from our subdivision requirements, which the council may do according to our ordinance section 13.40 subdivision 2, which allows the council to exempt the subdivider from all or some of the requirements. The reason we do this is because this is a well-defined area. There's already a subdivision here with lots marked out. These 3 parcels would be carved out from these existing lots. The parcels would be, to my understanding, then offered to the adjacent property owners. The property to the south and west then would be part of a flood mitigation project at some point in the future. We were just asking that the existing easements remain, and that was the only comment I got was from Austin Utilities that the existing easements remain, which are marked out on the certificate of survey.
Okay. Council, do you have any questions of either Holly or Mr. Faber? Mr. Faber, did you want to add anything? Okay. Questions? If there are none, we need a resolution.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 14 is a motion reappointing Chris Heichel to the Austin Mauer County Home Ownership Board, term expiring December 31st, 2017. Any questions on this? If not,
So moved.
is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. 15 is a motion reappointing Steve Life to the Austin Mauer County Home Ownership Board, term expiring the same time, December 31st, 17. Need a motion?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 16 is a resolution approving flood property deed restrictions. Mr. Lang.
When we purchase flood homes using DNR funds, we are required to put deed restrictions on that property so that some of those deed restrictions would be that we cannot sell or mortgage or encumber upon the property without approval from the commissioner of the state of Minnesota. So a lot of times with that, which if we were to do something with that property in the future for selling that property, we'd have to give the money back. So a lot of times that is why when we purchase flood property, it stays within city hands. That way we want to make sure that it is not built upon. So with that, we would propose request from council that deed restrictions be placed on 6 parcels that were recently purchased along Turtle Creek and 1 along Dobbins, and that would put us in compliance with our grants that we have received for both Turtle Creek and Dobbins Creek from the DNR.
Council? If there are no questions, we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 17 is a motion appointing Laura Ramirez to the Police Civil Service Commission, term expiring December 31st, 2015. This would be filling Doc Schindler's spot. Are there any questions on this? If there are none, we need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 18 is a motion appointing Jason Baskin to the Sustainability Task Force, term expiring December 31st, 2016.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 19 is a resolution approving a contract for the fire station roof repairs. Craig?
Mayor and members, included in your packet is a resolution that allows us to contract with Paul Johnson Architects for the roof repairs at the fire station. Funds were included in the 2015 budget. This would provide services for the design and construction management of the roof repairs. It was not before the work session, as we felt this was non-controversial and could bring it forward to the council consideration. The resolution is included. Council action is requested to approve the resolution and authorize the mayor to sign and record or attest the agreement.
Council?
I was just, I might have missed it, but what is the estimated cost of the actual construction?
I'll defer to Mr. Dankert if he can help me with that one.
Was that on here?
I think it was in the range of $180,000. There's two issues at the fire station. One's the roof and one's the side, but I believe that this one was $180,000.
And that work is in the budget as well?
Correct, be funded out of the fire PERA fund.
Okay, thank you.
How often do we repair this roof? I know this flat.
First time.
This is the first time, yep.
Okay. Any more questions? If none, we need a resolution.
So move the
For a
resolution.
second.
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 20 is a resolution approving a wine, strong beer on sale and Sunday on sale wine license for Moi Pizza, Minnesota LLC, DBA Pizza Hut, 3122-1. I don't know, any questions on that? And we need a resolution.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second? Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
21 is two resolutions approving a modified ICM agreement with Hormel Foods. Stephen.
Council may recall that we recently entered into an ICM agreement with Hormel back in December, and that was a one-year ICM agreement. Since that time, we have discovered that our meter is off slightly at our lift station where we monitor the flow. And in recalibrating that meter to the actual flow amounts that we have been receiving would put them outside of their current ICM limits. So we are recommending some new ICM limits for Hormel as part of these ICM agreement, and it would allocate some additional flow for them for a monthly average with their current industrial plant allotment. And we are also recommending an additional increase to their domestic flow allotment of 0.1 million gallons per day, and then also an increase appropriately to their BOD, TKN, and TSS. Really what this means is we're currently getting the flow at the treatment plant right now. All we're doing is recalibrating our meter to actually more accurately read the flow numbers, which then will give us higher numbers as a result of that. Therefore, we need to increase our ICM agreement with them. So with that, I would recommend approval of both the industrial and domestic ICM agreements. This is a one-year agreement, which will go through December 31st of 2015, at which time we will again revisit it to determine if any adjustments need to be made. And we will continue to work with them closely on any necessary improvements that we can make at the wastewater treatment plant as part of the industrial plant to try to reduce their need for the domestic allocation in the future.
Council, anything? If not, we need a resolution approving modified ICM agreement for the domestic plant. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
And 21B, another resolution approving ICM modified agreement for the industrial plant.
So move the resolution.
Is there a second? Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordahl.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. 22 is a series of motions granting the Planning and Zoning Department the power to contract for the removal of junk and/or illegally stored vehicles at A, 900 8th Avenue Northeast, the Ernst property. We need a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? B, 401 8th Street Northeast, the Scatterable property.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, or all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? C, 1203 9th Street Northeast, the Groff property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? D, 507 12th Street Northeast, the Inawa property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? E, 1105 10th Avenue Northwest, the Aaron's property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? F, 405 5th Street Northwest, the Torkelson property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? G, 611 14th Street Northwest, the Hebel property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And finally, H, 815 10th Avenue Southeast, the Heeman property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And our final action of the evening is 23, a resolution approving the transfer of an off-sale liquor license from Romulan Liquor DBA Apollo Liquors to RJB Liquors of Austin, Inc., DBA Apollo Liquor. Ann, would this be you?
I'm just requesting that the council approve the transfer of the off-sale liquor license from Romulan Liquor, which does business as Apollo Liquor. They are selling the business to RJB Liquors of Austin, which will also do business as Apollo Liquor. So passing the resolution would transfer that license.
Do we have any questions? If not, we need a resolution.
So, second.
Mr. Dankert.
Councilmember Austin.
Aye.
Jordan.
Aye.
Hagan.
Aye.
Carolyn.
Aye.
Enright.
Aye.
King.
Aye.
Councilmember Large Anderson.
Aye.
Resolution passes 7-0, Your Honor.
Thank you. We are now to reports and recommendations to the council. I'm going to make Judy last because I'm sure she's going to want to elaborate on her jumping in the lake. Jeremy.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Dave.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Mike.
There was a Community Education Advisory Board meeting last week. I think one of the most interesting things on it was a report from the school board members that are on it about the calendar committee. I know there's something in the news recently too, about that they're looking at balanced schedules and late starts and things of that sort. So there's nothing formal happening yet, but there's a calendar committee looking into that. They're going to keep looking into it for a while yet, I guess. So.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Janet?
Just want to encourage the public and to look at the Paint the Town Pink calendar. It's available on the Hormel Institute website, and we're talking about, will we be able to put a link, there'll be a link to that on the city website. Several new events have been added, so just take a look and see if there's something that you would like to participate in to support Paint the Town Pink, which of course raises money for breast cancer research at the Hormel Institute. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Jeffrey?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Stephen?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Judy?
The mayor and Craig and Janet and I attended the Southeast Minnesota League
Of municipalities.
of yeah, that's where we went.
What she
On Thursday in Rochester, and the majority of the meeting was talking about legislative policy positions and how it affects Southeast Minnesota and which ones we support and which ones we want to see some changes in. So there was a good discussion there and a good turnout. Then just to let you know, the Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Committee is in need of some members, and we meet on Wednesdays, the first or third Wednesday of the month at noon down here in City Hall's conference room. But we do things for our veterans and our soldiers and assist their families when they have needs. But we are looking for more volunteers, so.
And Judy, anybody can get involved in that, can't they?
Yes.
What kind of contributions are you looking for from people?
Well, like, we do a number of fundraising events so that we have some money in case a family needs something or support. We don't actually give them cash. What we do is we have a big network out there to get reduced things and assist people. And so like we will have a pancake breakfast in April, and we always need volunteers because we do the waitressing, cooking, cleaning up. And the first Friday of every month, we call and work bingo at the VFW, and they pay us for doing that. So, and then when the soldiers get deployed or come back, we usually will do some celebration for them. So it's a great organization. It doesn't take much time. The volunteering doesn't take long, and we could just use some more volunteers.
Tom, I should have mentioned something else that I attended along with Craig Clark, the Legislative Action Day on January 28th in St. Paul. There were meetings with the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities, and we also met with Dan Sparks and Gene Poppy, our representatives, to talk about legislative priorities for this session and some of the work that the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities is targeting to represent the cities in outstate Minnesota. We, of course, are a member of that organization. Mr. Clark might have some additional comments.
Judy, are you done?
Yes, I am.
Going to talk about jumping in that lake?
Just that it was cold, but it's well worth it. It's really, just a great event. So many people come out, and Park and Rec and the police department, fire department, so many assist with it. They volunteer their time, so.
It was really quite.
It was good.
Very, very well attended. Okay.
I'd like to congratulate Judy on doing such a wonderful job raising all that money, too. So, would you like to expound about that a little bit?
Our team, Dutchtown Jumpers out of Schmitty's Tavern, we raised $10,100.
Yeah.
So we were able to get So we received a $5,000 match from Egg Star. And so our total was $15,100.
Were you the high team?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, way to go.
Okay. Greg, do you have anything?
Only to add what Councilmember Anderson was talking about, most commonly referred to the session as Greater Minnesota Session because of some, omission of Greater Minnesota and some of the policies that have been advanced at the legislature, and unfortunately Governor Dayton's budget didn't have some of the key priorities that the coalition has pointed to, so we'll be working with our legislators moving forward during the session to try to help remedy that and give some tools to cities like Austin and Greater Minnesota.
Okay. And the only thing I have is I also did that dip, and I have to say I discovered new levels of not only pain but anxiety. It was quite the event. It was very enjoyable and for a very good cause. If nobody else has anything, we need a motion to adjourn. Pardon? No, I asked them to adjourn.
Mayor. Person in the audience.
Oh, you missed it. You can go ahead. You can come on up, DJ.
I appreciate the opportunity. I apologize for being late. We're having baby pigs on the farm tonight.
Why don't you bring one with you?
Well, they're a little too little. You guys need some bacon? We got your bacon. A lot of you guys know I'm Deanna Ryther. I moved here from Colorado. We also are aware that Minnesota is the 22nd state to pass medical marijuana laws. The Department of Health from the state of Minnesota has asked that southern Minnesota communities step up. There's a great need for coverage of the medical marijuana program for southern Minnesota families and communities. The closest one is going to be in the Rochester area, which leaves a 2 to 4 hour drive for families that are south of the cities. So I'm again encouraging our world-leading medical care and research community to put together a committee to work together within our community, with our law enforcement, with our educators, to build a sound structure. We paint our town pink in the hope of finding the cure for cancer. We are aware that cannabis does help, in fact, cure cancer. It kills cancer cells. It's time to stand strong, united, as a forefront in this movement. To not do so would show hypocrisy. We can't be a world-leading medical care and research community and neglect something that is working for patients. This isn't about anybody's personal position on it or where our reputations might stand on this. This is something that people need. I'm a medical marijuana patient myself. I am approved in the state of Minnesota and will be available to have medical marijuana care legally in 148 days from today. They have plans to have this ready by July 1st, and both locations are far away from here. And so what I'm looking for is a location for dispensaryship to work with the 2 approved locations that are going to be growing and manufacturing the cannabis for patients for a broad spectrum of conditions that we continue to hope to address through legislation. It has been so hard to stand here in this community, coming from where I come from. I shouldn't be looked at or treated as less of a person, or less capable, or less competent, or as less of a citizen. So again, I'm asking our community to come together and stand up for something that truly helps a lot of people: cancer, AIDS, autism, seizures, brain injuries, inflammation, PTSD, and the list just continues to go on. The more I learn, the more I want to stand here and encourage our community to be as strong as it should be. I am thankful to have married a 6th-generation farmer from the Austin community. I love him. To be a part of this fight has changed everything in my life. To stand up for patients and their rights is intimidating when you don't have the history or the education or the skills to do what I'm doing tonight. It's intimidating, it's frustrating. And I know that when we resolve to work together, we're gonna do some really amazing things here. My hometown of Boulder, Colorado just got a $500,000 grant from the state through the money that they've made in the medical and recreational programs of marijuana to study for children with intractable seizures. We should imply that same intensity in our community. We're building a $20 million cancer wing. I'm excited. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for everything that Minnesota has to offer, and we can and we will offer more. I continue to beg you, everywhere I see you, wherever I am, wherever our paths cross, that we stand together. We are a world-leading community. Please, let's work together and make this happen. We can't have 2 separate things happening. Let's join together. People who have cancer that you're jumping in the river for, they're going to be using cannabis in 148 days. So what steps do I need to take to make this happen?
All right, thank you, DJ.
No, I'm asking, what steps do I need to take to encourage the city to put
The
together?
city has nothing to do with this. I've talked to the people that are involved in that, and it's strictly a business thing. I said, what can the, how does the city, how do we get it? And they said, there's nothing. It's a business decision. The growers and the people that are going to dispense it, it's a business. They make applications, and they're either approved, or I believe at that time I talked to them, there were going to be 4 sites that were picked, and they're going to grow and they're going to do the dispensing. But these people contact the appropriate authorities, and they either get approved or not approved. But there's nothing that the city could be, there's nothing the city could do for or against or anything involved in it. It's strictly a business.
So if I come to you with people that have the financial means and abilities to create
I would
this,
direct them towards the appropriate, I don't even know who the appropriate people are, but you could find out up at the state.
well, this,
Yeah.
the
Should
human,
be able to-
Mr. Mayor, this isn't on the agenda.
Yeah, and see, that's something we can discuss, you know, this, we'll give you a couple minutes to talk, which we have, but, you know, we've
Right.
gone through this before, and it's just not something the city, you know, it's like abortion or anything else, it's just not a topic for the city.
well, and I guess what I'm trying to say is that we're, the human, or the state of Minnesota's health department is asking Southern communities to incorporate this program.
Okay, you know what, we need to get moving to our other meeting. We've already given you a lot more time than we normally do.
Well, I appreciate that. I do
All right.
encourage you all to educate yourselves on the benefits of cannabis, and I really do hope one day that we can have a cannabis grow center right next to the Hormel Institute and next to our cancer wing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Take a 5 to 10 minute break and meet in a small conference room.